I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. I would like to welcome Clove to the podcast. Hi.
Hey, hello. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're glad we tracked you down. Actually, you tracked me down. We tried to do this earlier, but life gets in the way of things, and I'm glad we were able to get you back in and going. If you could introduce yourself to everybody.
Sure. I'm Clovelier, tarot reading little demon. I predominantly stream free tarot readings on Twitch and occasionally play a variety of games.
So, how long have you been a tarot reader?
I've been on and off reading tarot since 2021, so about 4 years now.
What drew you to it?
Honestly, Persona 3 and Persona 4, if you've ever heard of them.
Oh, yes, I have.
Perfect.
Yes.
I absolutely adored the major arcana and the way that all the characters lined up with the upright and reversed meanings for the card that they represented.
Mm-hmm.
That really drew me in, but I really didn't get into tarot until like 5 to 6 years after I first played Persona 3 and 4.
It's for folks who don't know, who don't have had a reading or had anything to do with it. They could look at it and say, "Oh, you're just throwing cards there and just saying stuff." But there's a alchemy to it, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. A lot of people tend to use the Rider-Waite-Smith symbolism and interpretations, which is probably the most standard one with tarot at the moment. In a lot of ways, the way that I like to view tarot is ultimately self-reflection. The cards will be accurate to you because of you taking interest, you inputting and connecting the dots to everything. It may not always be the case, like tarot is never going to be 100% accurate, but there's always going to be that feeling of it'll be accurate when you suspend that disbelief for a moment.
So in a way, it's not so much telling you something you didn't know. It's just that you see it and then you kind of mold it to your situation.
Yeah, it's like rather than predicting the future, which is a big misconception, you could do future readings. But a lot of the times it's talking about what is currently happening and what you could potentially do if you continue on a specific path, for instance. It'll always change, but that's ultimately up to the querent to figure that out.
Yeah, it's not necessarily written in stone. I mean, it's changeable, right? I mean,
Exactly.
From what I've read, and I am on a scale of 1 to a million, I'm -10 as far as this goes. From what I've seen, though, it's if you act on a situation, you can change the outcome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's not set in stone like you see in the old pot boiler movies. Oh, you're going to get hit by a giant rock from space. That type of thing. It's
Yeah.
it is malleable and it is very interpretive. Yeah. So it brought you back in it, but what's kept you in it?
What's really kept me in it was what's it called? I started doing readings more consistently because I felt I just really wanted to get back into it, do something that wasn't just me sitting around or just like watching like something on Netflix or anything like that. I really like the self-reflection that I have when it comes to tarot, sitting down with myself, allowing myself to feel just like a bunch of different emotions, things that maybe I haven't fully processed. In a lot of ways, tarot is like free therapy. It's something that I've actually mentioned with my therapist before, and we've joked about that.
Well, I think it sounds like you're using it more as a tool than anything else.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
But what kept me in it was I kept getting the devil card, which is actually my inspiration for my model.
Mm-hmm.
It just kept showing up in all of my readings, no matter what I was doing
Yeah.
or no matter what I was asking about. It would just show up.
Yeah.
And the way that I interpret it as I was holding myself back from truly appreciating and practicing tarot,
Mm-hmm.
in ways I never really went fully into tarot. It would always just be like I treated it as like a party trick in a lot of ways. Like I
Right.
would just do readings if I went out somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I never just really used tarot just simply for myself up until that point.
Well, I bet you get surrounded by people once you say, "Oh, yeah," they find out that you do tarot stuff. It's like, "Oh, do me, do me, do me, do me, do me." Just
Absolutely.
yeah. And I bet that how irritating is that?
No, I love it. I adore it. I stream tarot all the time. I
Mm,
want people to ask.
mm.
I genuinely find it so much fun.
Well,
I used to do tarot readings in like the break room of the retail store that I worked at, just like in the middle of the break room. And
yeah,
I would get multiple people like read and whatnot, like just during our lunches.
yeah. That's pretty cool. Well, it's great that you found something that you have not only enjoyed but have kind of adopted and used to your own benefit.
Hmm.
Well, but when
I
you started it, when you first got into it, you didn't feel that way.
No, it was just like something that I really thought was interesting. I was very much in that mindset of it is just cardboard
Mm,
and that none of this is actually real or means anything. But when you put in that meaning, when you give it that thought, you appreciate it significantly more. And
mm.
I absolutely love that.
Well, that's a very interesting way to put it. I don't think I've heard it explained quite like that before, um, from someone who reads, and it makes sense and to me because here you if you get a particular card that has a meaning with it, and then again I apologize for my lack of knowledge for all of this, but I imagine that a certain card in a certain place with another certain card means different things. Um,
Oh, absolutely.
and that and you say, well, why is that there? And then you think back, and then you take what you've had going on and interpret it to the card, rather than having the card interpret you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, okay,
Exactly.
yeah, that makes that makes logical sense, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it does.
It's
You're using it as a self diagnostic.
it's oftentimes like a jumping off point for a conversation.
Hmm.
I get to learn a lot about a singular individual from just doing one tarot reading.
Hmm.
Sometimes I do really silly, goofy readings where I try to see like if you have Riz or not. Um,
Hmm.
or I do a reading where you actually are trying to make a really big decision in your life.
Well,
I love holding a space for people to work through like any type of emotions or feelings they may be having but aren't sure how to navigate them.
that's
Just
interesting.
giving them that space, that time, feeling seen, feeling heard, all
So
that good stuff.
what you're doing is you're interviewing them.
Yeah, in ways I am actually.
Now you're finding out by the cards are used as a tool to find out more about them, because if two people, and again, tell me I'm a dingbat old man if I'm wrong here, but or just do like my wife does and say it all the time. Um, the you could have the same card set up for two different people and mean completely different things to them.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And it could also depend on what cards are next to each other as well. That could
Mm-hmm.
change the meaning entirely.
Yeah, yeah, okay, all right, yeah, I can understand this now. I'm bringing it around to me because again, the way they react and the way they interpret the cards, it shows you get the clues as to well, what is bothering this person, what it means to them, and now they know what the problem is that they need to fix or need to work on. Yeah, I like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's very good. I like that a lot. Very crafty. I'm going to keep an eye on you.
Oh, when I was doing, oh my goodness, when I was doing readings at the retail store,
Mhm.
I genuinely got so much tea from everyone, like workplace
I
drama.
bet.
Genuinely, I just found everything out. Like, I don't know why people feel like they could trust me with such information, even though they all know that I do readings for everyone, basically. But
Yeah.
it's like, I still got that information. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I know what's going on, but I'm not involving myself with anything.
Yes. Just think if you used your powers for evil.
Oh, that would. Mm-mm.
But with this too, and if I imagine the more that you do a reading for someone, you earn their trust in the meantime because they're opening up quite a bit with these tarot's cards, creating questions for them to answer.
Oh, absolutely. I end up breaking a lot of walls for people,
Mm.
like when we have like a tarot reading, and they definitely feel a lot more comfortable with me. In a lot of ways, when you get a tarot reading, it sometimes says the things that you are uncomfortable just physically saying
Hmm.
just by someone else. And you get to hear that, and you're actually just easily able to open up in that regard. Like, oh, I can already talk about it. Someone else said the thing for me.
So with that, and when you get kind of a breakthrough, and you can tell probably pretty quickly at this point, how does that?
Yeah.
How does? What's your reaction to that?
Um, It really depends on what it is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, while everything sounds really sweet and very caring and very genuine on paper, which
Mm-hmm.
it is very genuine. I am also just a little creature. I am a little gremlin.
Mm-hmm.
I cackle. I laugh. I will roast you, depending on who you are. If I know you like you're my friend, I will roast you. I will drag you through the dirt
Right.
and say what is wrong.
Yeah.
Oftentimes I don't like sugarcoating either when it comes to readings. You
Mm.
don't want to say what people want to hear. You say what they need to hear
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
because they won't really benefit from just hearing the same things over and over.
Yeah. And that's a little bit that's where it kind of goes from an interview into almost a therapeutic type thing. Um,
Oh,
in it,
absolutely.
the interview is learning about the person. Once you do learn what, once you open them up a little bit, then you go to the therapeutic part of it. This is, you just need to you need to stop throwing chihuahuas at people. Whatever it is. Um, I'm not advocating that, but it's just the first thing that came to my mind. I don't know why. uh,
It's okay.
yes, I'm old. Things happen. Um, but really, I'm kind of. I hope you can hear the wheels turning in my head because it's starting to grind up and make sense now. And I can understand how if you were able to do that and help people out, how you would enjoy doing it more and more often.
It just feels good to help people,
Mm.
whether it is simply just making them laugh from a silly reading,
Hmm.
whether it is just to sit and listen to them talk about their problems, or even just actually helping them navigate through a situation they've been dealing with.
Mm.
Just having a breakthrough moment, essentially. It's wonderful. It's
Yeah.
great.
And
I
it,
love having that space for people.
and and for it to have a your mileage may vary moment where it one reading one set of cards doesn't mean the same from one to the next. That adds to the credibility of using it as a tool that way. Um,
Hmm.
it's and I'm learning things here. See, I forgot
It's really
I forgot my algebra, but I've learned that.
it's really interesting because all the cards will have like roughly set meanings, like a few set meanings.
Mhm.
And then depending on the reader, they can either use those set meanings or they just do something else completely with it. It is very much just based on the reader's interpretation. Some people will focus more on the imagery of the card entirely. I am more symbolism and base meanings,
Yeah. And
uh,
I,
base meanings interpretations, the way that I take cards into consideration,
right.
but also based on the person, really.
Mm,
It's hard to say how exactly to read when everything is just, it's entirely up to you and
right.
how you want to read.
Yeah. It's interpretive. It's interpretive. And
Yeah.
so when you see a film, and it doesn't even have to be the old pot boilers, but where somebody turns over a tarot card and oh no, it's the card of instant going to be poisoned by your next door neighbor. You better watch out. How?
Oh, so like death or the devil.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
it's the worst thing that could possibly happen to you, and you can't avoid it. Um, do you take that with a smile, or do you throw something at the television?
Um, when I'm doing my own readings, I'm just like, okay, why? Why is this happening?
Mm.
Hold on, hold on. I'm a little bit more sensitive when it comes to my own readings,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll try to be a little bit in denial about it, but then open up to it after.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to other people, it's mostly about um what's it called? It's mostly about trying to step away from like that
Mm.
initial response of just like, oh, this card means usually something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah.
No, 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 no.
Uh,
I mean, yes, well, something's probably gonna happen. It really just depends on how you react to it.
mm. Yeah. I was wondering if the interpretation of tarot reading in modern like films and in the general where if that gets to you on occasion, people are using it in ways that are that are stereotypical rather than actually useful.
I mean, it bothers me in some ways, but it's also just like it's just how they see it. It's gonna take a lot for that perception to change.
Mm.
But ultimately, it's just what matters most to me is how I'm able to interpret the cards and focusing on other people and helping them in that regard.
Well, I get that. I get that,
Yeah.
and you're talking about it. It really see this is one of the things I really love about doing these interviews is that when you talk to somebody and they're obviously very interested and they're very their heart's in something, you can hear it, and everything you said just tells me exactly what you feel about it, and how you said it tells me that. Now,
I appreciate that.
how did you go from that to doing it as a VTuber?
Oh, so let me see here. There is another tarot reader, VTuber. Her
Mm-hmm.
name is Ron, Queen of Cups.
Mm-hmm.
She inspired me to do that because she does tarot readings on stream, and I thought that was really cool. I've always been interested in streaming and VTubing, but never considered to really put all three of them together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in terms of my model, I was inspired by that devil card that kept showing up over and over.
Yeah.
With letting myself just do something that I generally thought I couldn't do. I didn't have the confidence to
Mm-hmm.
do, and just throwing that out the window and just doing it. So that's why my model is just like a demon of sorts.
Well,
Um, it's how I ended up just streaming, and I absolutely adore it.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So, had you seen VTubers before, and in the various
I've
ways they do things?
I've seen some VTubers. I was never really into like the VTubing subculture or
Mm,
just like really into like the very mainstream corporate VTubers.
right.
I knew of them but never really watched them.
Yeah.
So I kind of just jumped in without any knowledge prior to the VTubing community
Mm-hmm.
and just found myself in my little bubble
Well,
in ways.
yeah. Well, that little bubble is now basically exposed to the entire planet with a
Yeah.
possible audience of billions. I mean, if anybody does get that, it's going to crash the entire internet. But I mean, you never know who's going to be on that other end. And with that, does it occasionally shake your confidence in what you're doing when you realize you don't really know who's on the other end of that microphone?
No, not really.
Mm,
Um I guess what shakes my confidence most is when I start viewing other tarot readers and seeing how well they do their own interpretations, getting readings from them.
Mm-hmm.
But it also inspires me to just want to study more, just be more connected with the cards and just with myself
Mm.
when I see them. It's like a little pendulum where I'll swing like, oh, I'm really like excited. I want to do more to, oh, I have a lot of just like self doubt, a lot of imposter syndrome, that type of deal. But again, it's mostly just focusing on me and what I do and what I enjoy.
Do you think that there is any particular um, right way to do it? I mean, there's or do people have their own specific ways of doing it?
I feel like there's just like it's like there's a rough guideline of what you can do, and then people just run with it and do their own interpretation. So I don't think there really is any right or wrong way to do it or even learn it for that matter. And
Mm-hmm.
because it's so vague, it makes it really hard to just you want that foundation, but you're not really sure how to create that because so many other people have their own very unique ways of doing everything.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what makes it so fun. That's what really drives that self-expression and creativity with the cards themselves, even when it comes to coming up with spreads or just the way that you look at different decks.
Are you truly this nice as a person, or you just come across that way on when I'm talking to you?
I would like to say I'm this nice. I get that a lot. I also get that I am very chaotic a lot on stream. But yeah, I
Yeah,
would like to say that I am that nice.
yeah, because your voice definitely projects that, and this seems like this medium is pretty much set up for you that way in what you're trying to do with it, and your voice is not only calming, but it's also encouraging at the same time. I think it's very rare.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Mm.
I actually used to be really self-conscious of my voice, but streaming has made me really appreciate it in so many different ways.
Yeah, and I think that the people who are listening and watching will be appreciating it too. We're gonna have all your links up there when we put this up on YouTube for people to get involved with you. If you get 1,000 people uh, come up and say, "Do my reading now," do you just faint, or do you run away, or do you start in on
Um, I will do my best to get to everyone.
them?
That is usually my goal.
Mm.
I have actually had my queue fill up like within the first 10 minutes of me starting stream.
Wow. Yeah.
Um, with the way that I do readings, I usually have a queue and I do first come, first serve.
Yeah.
So people can roughly expect when they can get a reading, and sometimes my readings take 10 to 15 minutes. I have ADHD. I'm gonna get distracted.
Mm.
I'm gonna talk about some random thing that I'm reminded of. I'm gonna be paying attention to chat. I will get distracted.
Mm.
But what I really appreciate is just my community understanding that and
Yeah.
still wanting to wait and get a reading from me regardless of that.
Is
Um,
are there
so yeah.
people who question it because you're not, directly face to face with the person, or can you do that over you know, thousands of miles away over the internet? Is there is there some sort of limit to how well it works that way, or that uh, is that really not there?
I don't think it's really there. I've done readings for people all across the world, honestly, and um, I have been told multiple times by people I have made them cry during their readings
Mm.
because they've gotten very emotional in regards to the reading. Like it very much touched them in a way that just like, oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
And it's like
So I don't
it,
think there really is that barrier.
that's funny because I mean you're not doing that on purpose, but
No, not at all.
the cards somehow triggered something in them that made them realize something, or maybe appreciate themselves a little bit.
Absolutely. I love doing readings where I can just tell people how it actually is. They may have like very specific perceptions of themselves, but it's very distorted, kind of like a broken mirror.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like how I describe it.
Mm-hmm.
But you need someone else to hold up um just hold up a different mirror entirely and say, "Hey, this is you are just wrong about how you perceive yourself.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say, you are not um I don't know, people tend to look down on themselves a lot when they get readings, and I'm just like, no, that's not true. You
Yeah.
are absolutely wonderful. You're amazing. This is all the things that I know that you've done if they are someone that I know, or I'm able to talk more about that with them.
Mm. Yeah. I don't.
So
I guess get this feeling you're not going to let anybody walk away upset from
if
a
they
reading.
walk away upset, then sure. I haven't had that happen. I mean, some readings, they're just like, they're not the best, but they're not upset either.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
not all going to be
I mean,
winners.
yeah, but you're not going to say, oh, you really, you're terrible, and
No,
I just hang up on them.
no,
You're terrible. Goodbye. Click.
no.
Maybe I should do that, and then you can work. It'll help you out because they'll seek a second opinion.
People will always want a second opinion.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm not
Actually,
gonna lie. People will want that second opinion, and sometimes people just want to hear what they want to hear.
yeah. And I actually once did an interview with somebody from the Salvation Army, and I volunteered to be
Hmm.
their enemy. So
Oh,
if they had somebody that they were actually working against as an army, then people would probably contribute more. I'm the enemy of the Salvation Army. In order to stop me, you better give them money. They didn't go for it, but hey, I thought it'd be a good idea anyway. But pretend to have your tires flattened on you when you try to leave your house. But other than that, it sounds pretty good. Uh, so when you're online, I mean, it's not always tarot reading, and you say you do games on occasion. What type of games are you playing?
I play generally whatever my friends want to play. Like, I'll set up a collab,
Mm-hmm.
or my friends will set up a collab, and we just play, like, today I played Monster Prom with a couple of friends. I've played, like, Demonologist,
Yeah,
which is similar to Phasmophobia.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I
Um,
that would scare me too much.
it's not that bad if you're with a bunch of people who also already know what they're doing, and you're kind of just like, it's too dark. I genuinely cannot see. It's not dark. I'm not upset because I'm afraid. I'm upset because I genuinely cannot see anything on my screen.
I, I would. It'd probably be
It's
better if
too
I
dark.
didn't. If I didn't see it, then I'm not going to get jump scared.
I think, wouldn't you get jump scared regardless because you wouldn't even see it coming at that
Yeah,
point?
yeah. I
At
probably.
least when you see everything, you're like a little bit prepared.
Yeah, yeah. Just all of a sudden, I just see those hands appear on the screen, and okay, dead. Next one. Uh, so those type of games, and you do you end up doing a lot of collaboration?
I'm trying to do a lot more collaborations simply
Mm-hmm.
because my first few months of streaming, I was exclusively only doing tarot streams.
Mm-hmm.
I was not playing any games whatsoever. I didn't really collab with people. But now that I have like a really great group of friends that I can just talk to and want to hang out with,
Mm-hmm.
I want to collab with them. And sometimes the only way to hang out with them is through streaming.
Yeah.
So
No, that's true. I mean, when you're talking about the distances, the world is a lot smaller through streaming, but it's still physically a long ways away. To,
time zones are a nightmare.
oh my gosh, you're telling me. Uh, I can. Luckily, my sleep schedule is also a nightmare, so I can talk to people whenever I want to, for the most part. Uh, so, how long did it take for you to be confident when you started streaming? There had to be some questioning when you started and doing tarot readings on stream about, is this going to work? Or people are they going to want to come and watch and come back? When did you gain that confidence?
I think I gained that confidence within like my second month or so.
Mm,
I hit affiliate within 2 weeks, which I didn't think would happen so fast.
that's crazy.
I probably would have hit it within my first week of streaming had I just streamed 7 days in a row, which is also really crazy to me.
Yeah.
Um, but I've just had so many like I've actually had a lot of repeat people who come in and just want to say hi
Yeah.
or just get readings,
Mhm.
and I get to have updates from their readings actually. That's what really like bolstered my confidence that they came back, that they
Mm,
want more.
yeah. Yeah. Is it hard with what you're doing to get a steady audience of people coming back? Because if somebody comes in, gets their stream, and leaves, that doesn't necessarily give you the base audience to keep coming back for more.
I For whatever reason, I've never really struggled with maintaining an audience.
Mm.
Um Not to brag. I think it would be bragging, but I've consistently maintained like a 20 CCV when it comes to just my tarot streams.
Mhm. Well, I can tell you why.
And that
I can, if you want me to tell you why, I can tell you why.
Sure, tell me why.
Because you're absolutely delightful to talk to.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate
Uh,
that. Thank you.
that's why. And you know and I hope VTubers are starting to realize this, that there are, if you're just playing a game or what, there might be other people doing what you're doing, but they're coming back because of the personality of the person doing it. Um, and I could imagine having you in the background and watching you doing other people's tarot readings very easily, and just staying through the whole time, not necessarily jumping in and backseating backseating you or anything or that, but just come in and say hi, and it's just letting it flow. Very easy to talk
Yeah,
with, and very comfortable right off the bat. Um,
I appreciate that.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, it's and anybody who doesn't think so can fight me, but you have to catch me first. The,
All right.
but really, it does seem like this was really right in your wheelhouse, whether you knew about it or not, and it's an awfully good decision for you to do this. Do you see yourself expanding this next year into more and more people, or what is a realistic goal for you?
I think as of right now, I want to make sure that I'm still, in ways, conforming to the social media aspect of everything, making sure I have clips, making sure I have like some kind of social media presence to make sure people are aware of my channel.
Yeah.
I recently hit 500 followers.
Yay.
Um,
Congrats.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Um, and I've been getting a very steady, like 100 followers a month since I started.
Mm.
So I feel like hitting 1,000 in July isn't out of the picture for me. It seems very reasonable with what I've been doing, but I need to make sure that I have those other foundations as just a person who is trying to branch out more and have more people view me in
Mm.
that regard.
So when you started to when you're where you are now, is this way over where you thought you'd be, or did you give yourself any type of a bar to go by?
The only bar I had was to hit affiliate, and I hit that in 2 weeks. So everything else was just like, all right, what's next? I don't know what to expect now. So,
Well, I mean, it's obviously it's become a great partnership, you and streaming with this particular thing, and um, I'm trying to visualize what's next for you, because this particular formula seems to work pretty good.
mhm.
I would have to take a step back and say, why would I want to mess with it and change and add something when this is you know the car's still running and the chassis still good.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I don't know. I feel like in ways I don't really do much in terms of just like trying to set up for stream,
Mhm.
I just turn on my webcam, hit start, and it's like, all right, here are my cards, and there we go. Um, I think for me, it's just making sure I balance doing tarot because I still want that to be my predominant thing, but also still have fun playing silly, goofy games or just hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
But I've definitely gotten a lot of confidence from streaming in general. I have a lot of appreciation for myself now. Um, a lot of like people have told me prior to me actually streaming that I should do paid tarot readings. I should be doing this more for like a living or something,
Mhm.
or just anything relating to tarot.
Mhm.
And I didn't really get it until I really started streaming.
Yeah. And it's just the way that you present it, which I imagine reflects you as a person. Um, it's very disarming in a very good way. And it's a I mentioned alchemy before. It's a tremendous alchemy. It it really does set up for the type of success you're having, and I just hope that it continues for you in the future. Um, be-
I hope so too.
yeah, I think it will. I I'm not going to read anything into the cards, but I'm going to tell you it's going to happen. Um, and I hope that we get you back here soon and talk more about what you're up to when you've got some big events coming up. Because yeah, yeah, you're one of them gems out there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I would also love to do a tarot reading for you sometime.
Well, maybe we'll do that as a special.
Yeah, that would be so much fun.
Yeah, yeah, that'll freak a lot of people out. This isn't even a card. Why is this here? I didn't even put that in the deck. Why is this here? This is a Pokemon card. What the heck?
See, I've seen people do readings with Pokemon cards, and it's so much fun. The way that you would interpret, like, the Pokemon itself, whether it is, like, the imagery of the Pokemon, what it's based off of, the type of the Pokemon, and then just going with that. It's
My
so much fun. I love the creativity that comes with unconventional means of reading cards. Like, I've jokingly done, like, Cards Against Humanity cards with my
oh
friends,
my gosh, that's
and
so much fun.
it still hits in specific ways for them. It's like, oh, I didn't think about this for like 2 weeks. Why are we talking about this all of a sudden?
And my Pokemon card would be Muck. Boom. There you go. Yep, all of them are Muck. That's perfect. But it's great to see that you have found something that you enjoy so much and you enjoy helping other people with, and everybody gets a win-win out of the whole deal. Anything I can do to help promote you, let me know, and just keep in touch so we can set up that special because I'm intrigued now. You've baited the hook.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for coming
You're
on.
not going to regret it at all.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.